Everybody, I'm Noam Keim. I use they, them pronouns. I am an Arab person with a side braid, a teal tank top, visible chest and arm tattoos, and my background is blurred. I'm going to read an excerpt of a piece called Fruits of the Desert. A decade ago, on my way to the food co-op in Ann Arbor, I played the game I have played my whole life, where a stranger asks me what I am, and I let them guess my ethnicity. Depending on the country I'm in and the way I'm dressed, people assume that I'm Colombian, Punjabi, Syrian, Turkish. I'm believed to be something, so they guess. This man leaning against the front door of the store I was trying to enter was somewhat better than most. He called me a sabra, a term I'd never used to describe myself. Sabra, a term invented by the Zionist Project to describe Jewish people born settlers in occupied Palestine. Sabra, the Hebrew word for my favorite fruit, sabra, a move to create a nationalist identity from scratch, a way of uniting vastly different diasporic identities into one rooted in a plant abundant in the deserts of Palestine. In English, sabra is the prickly pear, the fruit of a cactus, a marvel really that such sweetness can grow in the desert. Out of the thorns of one of nature's most resilient plants, oblong fruits grow in a myriad of warm colors, red, yellow, orange, pink, little color-packed miracles that defy our understanding of ecology. Each fruit covered in thorns so thin, they're almost invisible to the human eye. Calling the settlers of Palestine Sabra is supposed to be a clever metaphor. The Jews born within the Zionist project have tough exteriors and sweet insides, just like the cactus fruit. It is a thin thread to connect a nation around, but what stories of colonialism have shown us is that it's enough to create new shared identities. Calling Israelis Sabra is also another humiliation inflicted to the people indigenous to the land, who themselves have used the prickly pear as a symbol of belonging for generations before their dispossession, and who are now left to use it as a symbol of their resistance and sustain existence in the face of genocide. In Palestine, they say sabr al-sabr, the patience of the cactus, to describe the resilience of the people living on a land not always kind. The people indigenous to Palestine saw their lives reflected in the thorny fruit of the cactus. Like them, it was resilient and durous. Like them, it thrived in a somewhat harsh environment. Like them, the plant extended generosity by using its resources towards creating a sweet fruit during the hottest month of July. In Palestine, the fruit of the cactus would be eaten communally, cut in slices by the men, and shared with all. Because before there was a Zionist project, there was a land farmed by families who would use the prickly pear as fences between their fields, the thorns of the cactus creating a natural barrier. Before there was a Zionist project, the Felahins grew wheat and barley and olive trees and grapes and figs. They developed farming techniques that required little to no irrigation, a necessity on a land that lacked water. Before there was a Zionist project, there was an Ottoman Empire and a British mandate. Before there was a Zionist project, some of the land belonged to absentee landlords. A lot more of it was duly owned by the families tending the land. Before there was a Zionist project, belonging to the land didn't always mean deeds and records and ownership, but it sometimes did. In Palestine, those who understood the land, those who were of the land, were its righteous owners as a collective, a community. 418 Palestinian villages were destroyed to make way for the Zionist project. I almost typed each village name so that we could collectively remember them. I wanted to write their names, but I worried you wouldn't read them. I worried that their names alone wouldn't convey the scale of annihilation. I worried that you would think I did it as a performance and not as a prayer for their return. 418 communities with people, houses, stores, and fields raised to make a way for a new reality that wanted them erased. 418 communities raised, also meaning death, expulsions, dispossession, and a life of survival in the refugee camps in Jordan, in Syria, and Lebanon. In each one of the villages, I imagine a circle and a man holding a knife and an oblong fruit, generously sharing sweetness with his neighbors. Thank you.